We're starting again, Sarah. And
Hello, I'm Margaret, and welcome to our third episode of Psyched to Cook. Who am I introducing? That's right, my brother, my big brother, psychologist, Dr. John Catone. He is here with us again today, cooking in my kitchen, teaching us how to cook something yummy and delicious whilst he, teaches us about different perspectives of psychology and mental health that is good for all of us to hear and learn more about. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in the big guy, John Catone.
Easy with that big guy thing. Not that big. Take it easy.
I was trying to boost your ego.
Okay. Should I put the apron on now? Is that what you're saying? I need to
the
put the
little
apron
guy.
on now?
Let's bring in the little guy. How would you feel about that? Anyway, well, welcome. Welcome again.
Wait, how you doing? You still
I'm doing good.
bruised from hitting yourself?
We're gonna let our kids watch these videos one day, and they're gonna know the truth. Everybody's gonna know the truth.
So this is a good segue because if you were psychologically damaged from the teasing that you said I inflicted upon you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes.
Well, you know what? I have to wait. You actually never teased me, I don't think. I think as we got older, I think you started teasing me more now than you did when I was a child. I think you would make me hit myself, and we did punch buggy and stingray. But I don't think I'm trying to think. I don't think you ever teased me.
Mm-hmm. So I was just physically abusive of what you're saying.
You're
I didn't
physically
psychologically
abusive. Now
abuse
that I'm registering all of it, I think as I've gotten older, you found ways to give me little jabs, to make me.
What about you? I mean, every time you see me, you give me some sort of product to make me look better because apparently I must be hideous.
For Christmas.
Also,
that's right. For Christmas, I got him a whole skincare.
I mean, that's just the latest. I mean,
well,
it's
I
always
wouldn't have
some
given
sort
you
of
a
product.
skincare line if you didn't convey interest. You wanted to go for a facial, right? You want to share this with the world. You said you become a little. Let's just say
Sometimes you get the bags under the eyes.
You're becoming a little vain in your old age.
Yeah, really? Think so?
Yeah. You've been more concerned about your appearance now more than you ever have.
Really? Yeah.
Midlife crisis, maybe.
Oh. Well, I mean. Who doesn't want to look decent? You want to look decent. I mean,
and not a lot of men I think care about their appearance. Mm-hmm. So when you stress an interest in skincare, it made me think, how come? I guess there are products that market to men, but there's really not that many.
Yes.
But men need skincare just as much as women do. Right? Maybe not just as much, because I think your testosterone is protective.
I feel like we're going on a tangent.
We are going on a tangent.
So,
sorry.
Sometimes you can't always talk to a psychologist or a therapist when, you have issues to work out or something has happened to you. But, fortunately...
Was that a nice way of telling me to shut up?
People around you, friends and family, whether they recognize it or not, serve as lay therapists. And in truth, we all serve as a lay therapist to coworkers, family members, friends, if you're a teacher, some of your students.
Well, wait, hold on. I don't think we discussed what you're making and what the official topic is. You just went right into it.
That's called a segue. It's called a segue. So, now, the problem is that lay therapists may not know exactly what to do in situations when people come to them for help. So I had written an article, again, for Psychology Today that we're going to talk a little bit about, because lay therapists are ubiquitous. Everybody knows someone in their life that they feel comfortable talking to, and you yourself know that people may come to you in times of need. It could be a best friend, again, a coworker or whatnot. But if you don't know, being the success to being the key to being a lay therapist is more about knowing what not to do rather than what to do, because sometimes people try too hard, and in the process of trying too hard, they end up invalidating people and pushing people away, making them feel worse about themselves. So what I want to talk about today are some tips, 4 tips for being a lay therapist that, if you can remember these things, you may not be able to totally solve a person's problem, but at the very least, you'll do no harm and perhaps maybe even make somebody feel a little bit better.
I think this is a fantastic topic. I think because you would think that trained therapists, psychologists would want to keep the realm of therapy, in their domain. But the fact that you are discussing how the importance of lay therapy and the importance that our family and friends can have, I think a couple of episodes ago we talked about like biased therapy and unbiased therapy. So it is good to have unbiased therapy with going to, a psychologist or a social worker, a therapist. But then sometimes that biased therapy, your a friend or a family member may have a long history with you, and maybe sometimes they can be impactful with the information that they give. So I think that's a great topic.
Thank you. So, having said that, since everybody can be a lay therapist, it reminds me of that line from Ratatouille, everyone can cook. So what I thought we would do is prepare a dish that basically is a simple dish that everybody is already kind of cooking, maybe kick it up a notch, but in the spirit of everyone can cook and everyone can be a lay therapist, we're going to make a dish that everybody already cooks to help people remember the fact that they're lay therapists and anyone can do it. Okay?
Right.
So we're going to do grilled cheese, but we'll do a little bit of a kicked up grilled cheese.
Who doesn't love grilled cheese?
Right. Who doesn't love grilled cheese?
Come on.
And because we're going to talk about 4 tips for lay therapists, we'll have a 4-cheese grilled cheese. So
4 cheese. Okay.
what we have
What
here,
do we got?
so we have some cheeses, and I'll talk about them in a second.
We've got, okay.
We have some sun-dried tomatoes. Some people like pimento in their grilled cheese. I like sun-dried tomatoes.
Did you buy an open jar?
We have bread from, I don't know if we're doing product placement, but let's just say my daughter's favorite hockey player is Artemi Panarin, and so I got some bread that my daughter's favorite hockey player would appreciate.
Oh, okay.
Sourdough bread. We have some brie cheese. Someone that I know is actually a chef, and she recommended using brie in my melange of cheeses.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Brie is like,
And
you love it.
most important, though, is a cooking brick. So I
You're
take a
picking
brick and I wrap it in aluminum foil. I make it my cooking brick, and I put this on top of the grilled cheese to kind of make like a panini, but we'll get to that later. So, Margaret,
What do you
let's
want me
see.
to do?
All right, here's what I would like you to do.
You're going to talk about the assortment of cheese?
All right, so here's what I'll talk about first. Let me get this out. So, can you take the brie, can you cut like 25% of it in a wedge and put it on one of the plates? Okay, and then we have some cheddar here.
Okay, wait, this is not a wrapping on it, right?
No, that's just the
Okay.
the wax on it. You could flip it if you want. You could like just flip it over. Okay.
Sticky.
We have some Jarlsberg, and I'm gonna put
You know what?
some Dutch Gouda. It's good to have different flavor profiles, different textures and consistencies, things with different melt rates. When you're making a grilled cheese. I'm gonna put this away.
What's your favorite cheese?
What's my favorite cheese?
Yeah.
If I'm just eating cheese with like cheese and crackers, there's this espresso encrusted Bellavitano cheese.
Oh, I've had that. Yeah, at your
it's
house.
Really,
it's
really
very,
good.
very good. Not something you would think would be.
No,
Yeah,
but it's
crowd pleaser, but it's good.
It's very good.
All right, we got our 4 cheeses.
So let's see if we can get a couple of slices of bread here. I don't know. You want to make? Should we make 2? These
Yeah.
are small. These are
Maybe even
this
3.
was
I
cut.
took out the big cast iron, so maybe
All right.
3.
Maybe 3. All right, let's do.
We have the crew that's going to be waiting for
Yeah, that's true.
this to
All
be
right.
done. Okay.
All right. So, for you who are lay therapists, The first tip, and this is a tip that actually comes from Al-Anon, which is the support group for friends and family members in Alcoholics Anonymous. The first tip is actually, don't just do something, sit there. Okay. Now this is kind of counterintuitive because usually what we hear people tell us is, don't just sit there, do something, right?
Yeah.
But here, right. But here, what we're telling people, what I'm recommending to people, and this comes from Al-Anon, is don't just do something, sit there. Because very often what happens is when we try to do something and we think that we need to do something to make someone feel better, we end up doing too much. And in doing too much, we end up doing the exact wrong thing. And doing the exact wrong thing, we could make them feel worse than they already feel. So the advice here from Al-Anon and this particular tip is, don't just do something, sit there. Just spending time with someone, letting them know that they are important enough for you to spend time with them, listening, is so therapeutic. You have no conception of just how therapeutic that is to someone who is really struggling, somebody who's really in need.
That someone hears you, someone's listening.
Yes, that someone is listening, that you are important enough to somebody else to just sit there and spend your time with. Okay?
Right.
And you will be holding yourself back from making the unforced errors of doing too much.
That's
now,
good advice.
The second tip is that if you have to do something, validate. Okay? Making validating statements like, that must be so hard, that really sucks, things of that nature. You're really, doing the best that you possibly can. This situation is, so far beyond the pale that nobody could really be expected to succeed in a situation like that. Validating statements like that, they may sound cliche to us right now, but to somebody struggling in need, they actually are the salve that heals the wound in the moment.
They say in if you're working in customer service, if you're trained well in that department, that you should empathize with the person that's calling, and you should kind of make it known that you're listening and that you do feel for them, that the situation that they were in was troublesome. So you just want to validate their feelings, and I think that's the importance of that portion of being a lay therapist. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a very underrated, understated aspect of therapy, and it's something anybody can do. The third tip, and this comes from comes from two places. If you remember Seinfeld, Serenity Now, Serenity Now was sort of a joke in Seinfeld that has its origins really in the Serenity Prayer that is sometimes said at 12-step meetings. And what is the Serenity Prayer? The Serenity Prayer is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the strength to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And as psychologists, or in this case, lay therapists, the thing that we end up doing the most is helping people to recognize what things are within your control, what things are outside of your control, and for the things that are within your control, helping to give them the strength and the wisdom and the interventions to change those things. For the things that are outside of a person's control, it's about acceptance and learning to accept those things and giving people the support that they need to accept the things that aren't going to change. So this is something that, as a lay therapist, if you want to kind of take that next level, again, stepping short of what an actual psychologist would do, just simply help people to talk about and try to determine what's within their control and what's outside of their control. And just making that distinction is more therapeutic than you realize.
Which is hard to do sometimes, because if you know that something is impractical and you really care about this person, you don't want to shoot them down, and you don't want to discourage them from doing something. Say it's somebody who is overzealous and they just want to start like a business, and that they're in debt, or they have other responsibilities to tend to, and you want to support them, but you feel like they should take their time and they should be more deliberate about the next step. So you don't want to squash their dream. So that's tricky. That could be tricky at times, and I think you're stuck in the middle. I think you're stuck in a situation where you want to support your friend or your family member, but you also want to not see them crash and burn.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's a hard thing because on paper there are many things that people will say this should be within my control, but in reality, a person may have to completely take their life out of balance or do things that would disrupt so many other areas of their life in order to bring something into their control or to actually do something about it that it really isn't within their control. And there's an art to that, helping people to figure out what's in their control and what's not.
Well, you as a psychologist, you're competing sometimes with these lay therapists where you're trying to give therapy to one of your patients, but then they're getting outside noise. They're getting outside, parents or loved ones, friends, spouses. Does that ever happen to you where they're maybe saying something a little different than what you're saying, and then it's impacting treatment?
Well, that's we were talking before about biased advice and unbiased advice. Is that a lot of times when you get advice from friends or family members, as much as they might think that they're objective because they're your friend or your family member, they're going to give you advice that, they feel would make you the best possible person for them and in your relationship with them. They may be unwilling to give you advice that potentially could get you angry at them or lead you to take a break from your friendship or your relationship for a while, even if that might be the best thing for you.
Right.
So, so sometimes, as you said, I am competing against other lay therapists.
Yeah.
So you're moving too quickly here. We have one more cheese left.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
so we have one more tip.
It's
so
going to go on this side. Okay.
I talk
I'm so
about.
sorry.
Are you going to wash the cheese like you wash the onions? We don't need to wash.
Let's not bring that up. I'm trying.
I'm going to bring that up.
You're never
going to
let me live that down. I'm just going to edit it out of the video, and it's like it never happened.
So, with the brie, what you're going to do is you're going to cut off the waxy outer layer, okay, and then you're going to spread it onto the bread, kind of like it's cream cheese, okay. And so this is the fourth tip. We're at the fourth tip here, and the fourth tip as a lay therapist that I'll give you is knowing your limits. Okay, there are a lot of things. I would even venture to say. 50% of what a psychologist does, a lay therapist can do. But there's also this other 50% that a lay therapist can't do, that you really need advanced training to do. And so knowing your limits, knowing when you can't help someone and they actually need a higher level of care than what you could provide, the best thing that you could do in a situation like that is to recommend that they seek their own professional treatment with a psychologist or a social worker or a psychiatrist or somebody else. And so how do you know when you've gotten to that point? Well, if somebody is suicidal, if somebody is so depressed that they can't get out of bed, if somebody is an abuser or a victim in an abusive relationship, if somebody is...
Oh, wait, we didn't do this cheese. I'm sorry, not to interrupt.
Oh, we didn't do the...
What is this, Gouda?
Oh, yeah, that was supposed to go on with Serenity Now.
With the Serenity part. Okay, we
sorry,
skipped
that
over
was my mistake.
Right.
So, when you feel that the scope of what your friend or family member or coworker is talking to you about is beyond what you can handle, the best thing you can do for that person is not to be a hero, not to think, that you're going to come in and save the day when you may not have the training to do that, but to refer them, help them find someone, a professional that can then take it to the next level with them therapeutically. So those are the 4 tips. And
these tips are great because not everybody wants to seek therapy. Sometimes people find it, time consuming. They see it as an expense. Or they think it's taboo. Maybe they're embarrassed. And so to have a support system at home, You know,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that your loved ones have you in their best interest.
As parents, we're always the first line of defense for our kids, and then depending on who our friends are and who our coworkers are, we may be the first line of defense for them as well. So, all right. So now we've assembled our grilled cheeses. Okay. Well, actually, our ungrilled cheeses, and we'll take a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I forgot something.
Oh, you're gonna butter.
I forgot the sun-dried tomatoes. And do you have any crushed red pepper, by any chance?
I should.
So sometimes I'll use a pepper jack cheese.
I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna start the skillet now.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It has to be started.
So sometimes I'll use a pepper jack cheese as one of my 4 cheeses in my melange here. But if you don't have pepper jack cheese, but you have crushed red pepper, you could sprinkle some pepper on, and you kind of make almost like your own pepper jack cheese. I don't know if you want it on yours. I'm going to put it on mine.
Yeah.
But, put it on. I won't put it on the last one in case somebody doesn't want that. But let me just get a fork, and we'll get some of these sun-dried tomatoes. Actually, no, I'm going to put that here. All right, now, and okay, did that, and so now let's see, where's the butter? We'll put a little butter on top, and then when we flip it over, we'll put a little bit of butter. So this will give you flavor. This will give you a little bit of crunchiness on the bread.
Okay, and then is butter going to go on that skillet as well?
You know what? Yeah, actually, we could put a little bit on the bottom side. Sure, put a little bit on there, and then a little bit on the bottom. And you have that on medium. Good.
Okay.
All right, so let's take this over.
So what kind of bread is this again? You said it was
It's sourdough.
Oh, it's sourdough. Yeah.
Yeah. So we figure we'll.
And you said that's Fran's favorite.
Well, so Fran's favorite hockey player is Artemi Panarin, and that's.
And is he a Ranger?
He's a Ranger. Yes, they are.
Okay.
Best record in the league right now.
Congrats.
So and so let's see. We can put our cooking brick on top like this. Okay. Actually, what might be better to do, put a plate on. All right, and then we'll tamp down, like that.
Okay, so probably like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, this is thick bread.
Very thick.
And so it may take a while for the cheese to melt, but as long as we have it on low heat, it won't burn. So that's what we want to make sure. So. All right.
Well, it looks delicious.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever had a grilled cheese with that many. It's funny. I have a love-hate relationship with brie. I don't think I love it. I think sometimes